a Republican lawmaker had this dumb take. Hold on, content warning, because it's a really dumb take.
So I just want to make sure I understand what Senator Anderson saying. He's saying that 16 and 17-year-olds are mature enough to decide to get married, but they're not mature enough to be taught about contraception in school, and they're not mature enough to receive contraception on their parents' health plan, and they're not mature enough to get contraception from the health department, but they are mature enough to get married? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's a fair question, and I'm happy to answer it. I think my position, when this has come up before, is if a 16 or 17-year-old, certainly if they have their parental consent and they wish to get married and their parents approve it, then correct, I don't have a problem with that.
But you just moved to table a bill that required parental consent to get birth control pills on the parent's health plan. Where's the logic?
Well, the logic is, I believe sex belongs within marriage because sex leads to children and children needs parents. And so I'm not in favor of the state paying for contraceptives for unmarried children. I don't think that's a good policy. I think children come from sex, and children need a mommy and a daddy.
But these portraits have a special significance.
Where in the fuck does this come from?
As Joe mentioned,
You shut the fuck up, Obama. We were done with you. Fucking Obama sneaking his ass in here again.
So
We were done with you. No.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Ain't nothing wrong with sexual anarchy, but be responsible with it. Doctors in Ohio are saying that the abortion laws being imposed on them has them working against their oaths to do no harm. And I'm going to give you several other examples of this in other states as soon as we finish this story. And yes, content warning. Graphic descriptions of emergency pregnancy termination. A little more than 2 months into enforcement of Ohio's harsh abortion restrictions, but I have good abortion stories. That sounds weird. Good abortion stories. We've got good abortion stories. I've got uplifting stories at the end. A little more than 2 months into enforcement of Ohio's harsh abortion restrictions, doctors are describing scenes of almost unimaginable anguish and increased risk to women and girls who become pregnant. According to them, in all but the most dire medical emergencies, they and their patients have had to take up to 15 minutes with a bureaucratic process that some docs say is meant to shame women before allowing them to end pregnancies that pose a threat to their lives. Other women have partially delivered fetuses too underdeveloped to survive, only to see the delivery stall. In that condition, with the fetus partly out, they also have had to sign paperwork and then wait for 24 hours or for the fetus's heart to stop. Women suffering other complications, such as a detached umbilical cord, have faced similar intrusions just after they were devastated to learn they would lose a child they dearly wanted. They, too, have had to wait a day for the fetal demise. In one instance, that took 14 hours, a doctor said. Still, other women shattered to learn that the baby they are carrying lacks vital organs necessary for survival, are being told that in Ohio, they have to carry that baby, possibly for months, only to see it be stillborn or to watch it quickly die. 2 weeks into enforcement of Ohio's strict new abortion law, doctors say the problem it's causing are ones they repeatedly warned Republican lawmakers of before they passed, and Governor Mike DeWine signed it into law in 2019. Similar problems seem all but inevitable in states with similar laws, such as Tennessee, which implemented its restrictions on August 25th. Some Republican leaders, including Attorney General Dave Yost and U.S. Representative Jim Jordan, raised doubts last month about the existence of a pregnant Ohio 10-year-old who was forced by law to leave the state for an abortion. But as with that case, one Cleveland doctor who handles high-risk pregnancies last week said the scenarios listed above are all too real. A pregnant woman held for months in an Alabama jail to protect fetuses from drugs. What in the holy fucking fascism is this? Police arrested Ashley Banks on May 25th with a small amount of marijuana and a pistol without a permit to carry. Under normal circumstances, the 23-year-old from Gadsden would have been able to post bond and leave jail until her criminal trial, but Banks admitted to smoking pot on the same day she found out she was pregnant, 2 days before her arrest. In Etowah County, that meant she couldn't leave jail unless she entered drug rehab, leaving her in limbo for 3 months. She's not the only one, according to attorneys involved in her case. Several pregnant women and new moms accused of exposing their fetuses to drugs have been held for weeks or months inside the Etowah County Detention Center under special bond conditions that require rehab and a $10,000 cash bond. Attorneys with the National Advocates for Pregnant Women, an organization that opposes laws that criminalize pregnancy, say it's unfair to impose special conditions on pregnant women who haven't been convicted of any crime. As a result of the policy, the Etowah County Detention Center often holds several pregnant and postpartum women in the jail against the advice of experts on maternal and fetal care. This is one of those pro-life states. Now, I'm not going to be able to read you the whole article on this one because I couldn't find it anywhere else. Only in the Houston Chronicle. And I do not have access. However, I can move to reader mode or whatever. Fuck.
Texas abortion laws led to 3-day delay for Houston woman's pregnancy.
I don't like that at all. Don't read that to me. But I was trying to find, the reader mode thing. Oh. I don't think that's what I want at all either. God damn it. I can't even see the headline anymore. Oh, I fucked this one up. I'm not high enough. It's after midnight. Texas abortion law led to 3-day delay for Houston woman. For woman's treatment, Texas abortion law led to 3-day delay for Houston woman's pregnancy loss treatment. In her 15th week of pregnancy, a large fluid-filled sac surrounded the fetus, most prominently around the head and neck. Massive cysts, some filled with blood, covered her enlarged ovaries in a spoke wheel pattern, according to her medical records. Additional fluid had filled parts of her abdomen. She had to wait 3 days because of the abortion laws in Texas. Good job, Republicans. Meanwhile, also in Texas, some ministers are taking a stand against these draconian laws. Ministers say Texas abortion laws actually violate religious freedom.
Now to church this morning. A group of Methodist ministers sent Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton a letter saying they intend to sue the state over its new abortion law. The Reverend Rachel Bachman is one of the clergy who signed the letter. She is the senior pastor at Oak Lawn United Methodist Church in Dallas. Reverend Bachman, I appreciate you inviting us over here.
Good on her.
Let's talk about this letter here you sent. The law that passed, SB 8, that everyone knows.
I'm just going to assume by the motif and the way she looks and everything, this is one of those utilitarian type of churches. One of those really welcoming, non-denominational kind of churches. You know, the pride flag and the rainbow on the altar. Just saying.
Knows about now. The argument you're making is it would impact the way you interact with your congregation. Explain how that would happen.
Well, I think it's fair to say that SB 8 gives a certain level of
is a Methodist church
to clergy and others who would act in conversation or counseling or guidance of any kind with women who are pregnant, and certainly that's something that I run into on a regular basis. My understanding is that SB 8 would burden my ability to do that, would even challenge the possibility that I be prosecuted for doing so, even for matters of life versus life.
The concern, I guess, is that by counseling someone who might be pregnant, you would be seen as aiding or abetting an abortion if you suggested that person get an abortion. Mm-hmm. Have you had those conversations yet with anyone in your congregation?
I'd prefer not to say.
What message do you want this to send?
Good on her.
I hope it sends a counter narrative to, honestly, the heavy-handed narrative of Christian nationalism. That alternatively, I represent a mainline denomination. We represent hundreds of thousands of people, and I am really just trying to stand up and protect our rights and ability to have honest conversation and dialogue with our congregation members about things that matter.
A group of pastors in Florida filed a lawsuit over this. Do you expect this is going to end up in Texas courts?
Yes.
Unequivocally, it sounds like you think it's heading there regardless.
Absolutely. I don't think it's possible that this won't end up in Texas courts.
Reverend Bachman, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I am very antagonistic towards churches all the time, like 24/7, constantly. But like, I am proud to play a clip like that when I come across it and point out some of the good that religion does do. Judge in Michigan struck down a Michigan abortion law from 1931. Michigan Supreme Court is considering whether to place a proposed amendment on the November 8th ballot that would add abortion rights to the state constitution. A judge on Wednesday struck down Michigan's 1931 anti-abortion law months after suspending it, the latest development over abortion rights in a state where the issue is being argued in courtrooms and possibly at the ballot box. The law, which was long dormant before the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June, violates the Michigan Constitution, said Judge Elizabeth Glelcher. A law denying safe, routine medical care not only denies women of their ability to control their bodies and their lives, it denies them of their dignity. Glelcher of the Court of Claims wrote, Michigan's Constitution forbids this violation of due process. The decision comes as the Michigan Supreme Court is considering whether to place a proposed amendment on the November 8th ballot that would add abortion rights to the state constitution. Friday deadline is looming. Supporters submitted more than 700,000 signatures, easily clearing the threshold, but a tie vote by the Board of State Canvassars over spacing issues on the petition has kept it off the ballot so far. Over spacing issues.